It's Friday, June 14, and time for your Barbados Today Evening News Update. I'm Fernella Wedderburn. Thanks for joining us. Our top story: in just 24 hours, the island recorded its 28th and 29th murders for the year. 38-year-old Orlando Ford of number 2 Vauxhall Christchurch was shot just after 1:50 p.m. today. He was rushed to hospital by taxi, but later succumbed to his injuries. Officer in charge of the Southern Division, Bruce Rowe, provided this update at the scene.
We understand that he was by his house, lying with some other fellas. And a sailor came up, asked for him. There was an exchange of words between them, and then he was shot. Investigations are being conducted at this moment.
Anita Morrison, the grandmother of 3 of Ford's children, says Orlando was a good father who took care of his family.
Fella never looked for violence. He was a proper father, a father that his children could depend on. His mother could depend. He was the breadwinner for his family. Whatever his boys want, he will give them. Never get into no real nothing. He never get charged yet. He never been arrested yet.
Meanwhile, police are yet to release the name of the man shot at Jezreel St. Philip around 9 o'clock last night. When police arrived at the scene, they discovered the man's lifeless body. Police have not released his name. Lawmen are asking anyone with information about the incident to contact Police Emergency at 211, Crime Stoppers at 1-800-8477, or any police station. In other news, Barbados and Ghana today took firm steps to deepen their ties as the President of Ghana, Nana Akufo-Addo, pays an official 2-day visit to the island. Just after 10:30 this morning, the President and his delegation received a red carpet welcome and a warm greeting from Prime Minister Mia Mottley and members of her cabinet. The two leaders immediately got down to bilateral talks, and at the end, they agreed to increase cooperation in a number of areas. At a joint press conference, Prime Minister Mia Mottley announced that Barbados will be seeking to recruit nurses from Ghana to help address the acute shortage of nurses.
There will be a 24-hour polyclinic with respect to those nurses that we have. We have a shortage of nurses beyond the polyclinic system. We have a shortage of nurses in the hospital. We have a shortage of nurses in the geriatric hospital. The desire to have a 24-hour polyclinic in certain districts is not about government's desire to pass records and to tick boxes. It's about being able to allow poor people to access free medical services 24 hours a day, because there are some people who simply cannot afford to do it otherwise. If we had enough nurses, there would be 24-hour polyclinics in every polyclinic, not just the Winston Scott that right now, by the way, does 8 in the morning to 10 at night. So we look forward to the amplification of nursing across the board with respect to our entire health sector.
She, however, made it clear that the move to recruit nurses from Ghana was not linked to the stalemates between the island's nurses and the Ministry of Health over the proposed introduction of 24-hour clinics.
We've indicated that we are searching for just under 400 nurses, so it's not a small number. And we really do believe that this is a wonderful opportunity of cooperation between our two countries.
The two sides also agreed to establish a direct air link between Bridgetown and the African nation, and both leaders signaled this was an important move as Ghana stages its year of return, encouraging the African-American diaspora market to mark 400 years of first enslaved Africans arriving in Jamestown, Virginia. Mottley noted it was critical for Barbados, which is gearing up for We Gathering next year. President Akufo-Addo told journalists his countrymen are looking forward to visiting the Caribbean.
There's a lot of interest, but then when they look at how the difficulties there are in getting here, they're daunted. I mean, their spirits are depressed. You have to go to London, and go to Miami, New York. I mean, by the time you're over, you're, 18, 20 hours in the air, waiting at airports, etc. It's not exactly the way you want to go on a holiday. So Yes, a great deal of interest. They're very much aware that over here they have plenty of people who are like them. Today, when I was inspecting the Guard of Honor, it was like I had a double take. All those young men there, they look like the young officers of my army in Ghana, the Ghanaian Armed Forces, Army. And I had to sort of do that to remind myself that, in fact, I'm in Barbados, not in Accra. So, yes, great interest. But the mechanism is not there. The instruments for facilitating that is not there. And that is what we are determined to put in place.
The president later delivered an historic address to Parliament, the first ever foreign leader to do so. The Bridgetown port is on a mission to become a major transshipment hub in the Caribbean. Chief Executive Officer of the port, David Jamori, touted the plan at a brief commissioning ceremony of a state-of-the-art gantry crane this morning. The $12 million equipment will enhance the port's capacity to handle cargo and improve the turnaround time of vessels.
Our aim is to be a subsidiary hub for the Southern Caribbean, meaning that this is the point where cargo will be distributed from the other islands of the Caribbean.
Could you give us an estimate as to how much cargo you handle now and how much more you expect to handle with vehicles?
Well, in terms of, because this is a container crane, we handle about 100,000 TEUs, and we are aiming to handle about 180,000. Part of our vision for next 10 years is to be able to get to 180,000 boxes per annum, which will be primarily transshipment boxes, as there's only so much that is consumed within the country.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
To regional news now, in Guyana, the Public Security Minister Kimraj Ramjatan challenges the Customs Anti-Narcotics Unit to crack down on drug mules who are finding new ways to beat the system. He says while the unit has been doing a good job, it should target the big fish and bring them to justice. Here is more from Javon Vickery of HGP-TV Nightly News.
On Thursday, Public Security Minister Kimraj Ramjatan opined that while KANU has done its part to stop traffickers from risking their freedom to traffic drugs, it is time for drug lords to face the law.
What also it helps with is when they're prosecuted successfully and so on, and you knock down their little empires, is that you drive the profit motive out of the trade. This drug traffic trade has as its primary motivation profit. All the literature that I have read have indicated that that is where it is.
And on the international front, the United States today blamed Iran for attacks on 2 oil tankers at the entrance of the Gulf and said it was seeking international consensus about the threat to shipping. Iran has, however, denied involvement in the explosions at sea. More in this Reuters television report.
This video that the U.S. military says shows Iran's Revolutionary Guards removing an unexploded mine from the side of the damaged Japanese oil tanker, the Kokuka Courageous. President Donald Trump alluded to the video in an interview with Fox News on Friday, saying, quote, "Iran did do it, and you know they did because you saw the boat." Also on Friday, a U.S. official told Reuters Iranian fast boats in Gulf waters were preventing tugboats from towing away the other damaged oil tanker, the Norwegian-owned Front Altair. Shanahan declined to say whether the U.S. would send more troops or military capabilities to the region, but said the U.S. was always making contingency plans.
We're making sure that General McKenzie and the Central Command has the resources and the support that they need to conduct their missions.
And that's news, but for the very latest, visit our website at www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates or like us on Facebook, and sign up for our breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. We're also on Izumi Media in bus terminals, as well as screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you, and you can hear us on Mix 96.9 FM and Capital Media HD 99.3 FM. I'm Fernella Wedderburn. To have a wonderful weekend.